another episode of On the Block. I'm here with Don Kingley from ATB News and Ron Davis. We're going to start off right now talking about the Los Angeles Clippers, who have had some problems. They played the Toronto Raptors today, and Raptors had a big lead on them. And we thought that they were going to blow it, but they ended up holding on. Although the Raptors scored 8 points, counting them all, 8 points in the third quarter.
Wow, unbelievable.
And where do we start? Let's start with the Clippers right now and where their struggles are.
The Clippers, I mean, they're a mess. And I also heard that how the locker room got into some sort of argument after the game.
Oh, they have to run into
Two embarrassing losses.
They're frustrated, and it's starting to show now. I mean, they lost, I think, like 3 or 4 in a row now.
Yeah, and that Golden State loss was tough.
I mean,
We all thought that it might end.
This loss was tough. I mean, they were down 29 at the half.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they did come back and fight.
Yeah.
But still, they lost pretty bad.
In a bad fashion.
And they just seemed like they didn't want to play today. Like, if you look at their body language and just the mental mistakes they were making, like, they were not in the game.
I feel like they were really deflated after the Golden State loss. But really and truly, everybody knew going into Golden State, and obviously the Clippers, they're competitors. So to them, they were like, oh, we have a legit chance here.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, we all knew what was going to happen going in playing Golden State. We knew they were going to take that L. What was really bad was the Raptors. The Raptors are a team who haven't really gotten it together yet. And they thought, I'm pretty sure the Clippers thought they had this game for sure.
You know, this would be a
bounce
game,
back
a pick-me-up
game.
game. You
And
know?
it was not. It was a swift kick in the lower region, and it hurts. And to be honest with you, I feel like that team has too many Chiefs and not enough Indians. Meaning that there's too many guys who feel like I'm the man. You know what I mean? Or like I was the man on my team, or I was the man at some point in my life, and now I have to adjust here. And and I feel like Doc is doing, I don't want to say a poor job, but like Doc doesn't seem to have a handle on the whole situation. It seems like the system's not working, and so what guys are doing now, is going for just doing whatever they can to score. Like Blake Griffin posting guys up 15 feet up in the basket. Like,
or he's just bringing it, he's bringing it up and just doing, whatever. Like,
whatever, exactly.
And it's like, you can't do that. I mean, on paper, they have probably the best.
Possibly
they should win a championship.
The best team.
They should win a
Possibly the
championship
best team on paper. And that leads me to the question I was going to ask you guys. Do you guys feel like Doc Rivers has not lived up to the hype and the potential with this team? Because like you said, he has a title with the Boston Celtics, which we've talked about before. It might be the best team in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
They won a lot of games that year. We could have coached that team, and maybe they would have won. Right? So it seems like he might be riding on the coattails of that. And now you look at the team, they bring in Lance Stevenson, Wes Johnson, Paul Pierce, Josh Smith. These are some big-time guys, and they really had no bench last year.
Yeah, and then you add Jamal Crawford on that bench, too. It's like, how is it not? I mean, I guess you can kind of see. I mean, all those names are all risk players.
I just want to say, too many Chiefs, not enough Indians. These guys all want to run the show themselves, and they have to take that adjustment. All due respect to Paul Pierce, I guess. Whatever, but you can't teach Paul Pierce.
He's there for the playoffs,
Paul
probably.
Pierce,
Yeah.
he's the type of guy, you know what he can do.
I'm not even including Wes Johnson in there.
Wes Johnson hasn't
still
done
right
enough.
too.
I don't think he's done enough in his career to be considered as a player you can count on.
And
Stevenson, he's shown that he can be that player.
Yeah.
Josh Smith has shown that he can be that player.
He's also shown us that he can be the player who's going to chill at the 3-point line.
Exactly. Exactly.
He's playing the 4 right now.
He's playing the 4, and Jamal Crawford, we all know he can light up like that.
And he's dropped off though too.
And
He's not playing that well.
Struggling. He's struggling. I mean, he had one game where he had like 30 plus points. I think it was 33 or something, like 37 or something like that. But
he's putting up some Terrence Ross clunkers in the back-to-back games though. Speaking of
it, that's
pretty to watch, man.
It's not.
And that's the thing, like you said, Jamal Crawford inconsistent. JJ Redick's been injured. He's a big part of that team. And if he's he did
all that time he's been missing, hey, might as well get some.
Put in work.
I don't really like the choice of the tattoo, but
each is their own.
Exactly. Right?
And DeAndre Johnson still can't hit Jordan still can't hit a free throw.
Oh god.
And that's the thing. You put in that kind of work.
Exactly, and it's like you get that much money. And it's like you would think. You try to work on something like that. I mean, work on something that you're not good at. You can dunk. You can rebound. You can block.
Exactly.
You're athletic. That you already have. Work on something that
it's time to step up.
Yeah, that will add to your game. Like shooting free throws, like having some sort of back to the basket game.
Yeah.
You know, something. You know,
Even if he doesn't want to do the back to the basket,
Just
the thing I'm
being able
thinking
to
is,
get free throws.
look back at that Houston series. How embarrassing it was when the other team's fouling you 100 feet away from the net, and you're going to the line and you're being embarrassed in front of 20,000 people.
Like,
if that can't make you want to work on your game, what will?
Exactly.
Like,
because it sure as hell wasn't that paycheck. That's
exactly.
sure.
That's why I understand why players just can't just lock themselves in the gym and say, okay, I'm not coming out until I make like 100 free throws in a row.
Kind of like what Steph Curry does. Steph Curry takes 100 3-pointers consistently.
Exactly.
If he misses one of those 3-pointers, he does it again until he gets 100.
Exactly.
Habitually.
Like,
That's why he is what he is.
Why can't players who can't shoot free throws do that? Because I don't understand how, like, even some players who can shoot well at the 3-point line can't shoot free throws.
It must be a mental thing, I guess, right?
It has to be.
It has to be.
It has to be.
Definitely.
It has to be. Like, you look at a guy like Rajon Rondo.
Yeah.
He's a guard.
Yeah.
He shoots 50% from the line.
Yeah, like he's less than 50%.
I feel like that's definitely one of the Clippers' main issues, but I don't know. Like I can't put my finger on one thing that's making them fall apart. I remember before the season started when I saw what their roster looked like, and I was like, oh my goodness,
wow.
this is a championship. It's championship or bust for the Clippers. Like, they've assembled this team in a way to win a championship. This is not like, oh, okay, this is a 2-year.
It's not building towards the next year.
This is winner
championship or bust.
It's not looking good, and man, we could see some changes to this team happening before All-Star weekend. Like,
if it's still going the way that it's going right now.
And I don't want to put it on Doc either. Like,
I mean, part of it,
he's
part
to
of
blame.
it,
He has to hold some of the blame,
yeah.
but like I feel like it's not all him.
It's not because, like we said, the whole thing with coaching. What do the Clippers? When you think of the Clippers, what the first thing that comes to your mind? They dunk. They don't play defense.
No.
They can score the basketball, but you assume that they can't with that much talent.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Once Doc was brought in, he's always been a defensive coach. Like that Boston team played defense.
Yeah.
They have the horses to play defense. Like DeAndre Jordan there, Chris Paul gets out. He's the first all defensive team.
I think they don't have enough guys, no nonsense type of guys.
Yeah.
They don't have enough of those guys. The only guy they have there is probably Paul Pierce. Right?
Yeah.
And that team, they had Paul Pierce, they had Garnett, they had Posey.
Exactly.
They had some PJ Brown. They had PJ Brown.
Leon Poe put in some minutes on that.
Poe. They had, but those four veteran guys, those were like no nonsense type of guys. They came from the old school,
Whereas these guys that added to their
these
team
guys
are nonsense.
They're nonsense.
They're
They're guys IQ not that high or focus level just not that high, and you can see it on the court. They don't play for 48 minutes.
No,
they don't. They play
Lance
for
Stevenson's chirping Steph Curry for missing a 3 while you're on the bench. You're on the bench in the game in a while.
Come on, man. Stephen Curry didn't even entertain that.
Exactly.
Because he's like, look at him, like he was like, why
you're a fly on the wall?
Like,
I'm
focused right now. Like I'm about to beat you guys. Like that's what he had. That's the face he had when he was trying to talk to him, and it's just like you can see it right there. There's no focus.
Yeah,
no focus.
It's not in the right place. Definitely.
Speaking of no focus, I hate to talk about Terrence Ross. We're not going to start with him. We're going to talk about the Raptors and how they're going to struggle possibly with Jonas Valanciunas, who's out. We just found out for 6 weeks. They have Bismack Biyombo, who we love defensively, one of the best defensive bigs, a pretty good rim defender. But they're going to struggle with the scoring. We've seen that since he's been out, and we saw that before.
We saw it today.
It's gonna be
8 points in the third quarter, and we almost lost the game basically.
A lot of hero ball and ISOs.
We at point in time the Sixers brought it to within 6. So I mean, like the scoring is going to be an issue.
It's gonna be a huge drop off. You're losing 12 to 15 points right there from JV. You're losing boards. Starters defense. You're losing starters boards as well too. And now you insert Biyombo in the starting lineup, which means that Scola, who I love by the way, I thought was a great pickup for the Raptors, solid pickup. He's gonna have to bear more of the offensive load, which is going to wear him down. You know what I mean? And I think Scola has been playing effectively because he hasn't been like he isn't the main cog on offense. You know what I mean? He's clearly the fourth option, maybe even the fifth in the starting lineup in most situations. Whereas now he's going to have to bear that load.
He's going to have to labor on defense too.
Exactly. He's going to have to labor on. He's going to be tired, and then who you're putting in behind him, like James Johnson,
Patterson, but those guys are not doing much with the minutes that they're given.
Exactly.
I don't know if it's like the coach not putting them in the proper
position
spots for them to succeed or whatever, but like they're just not producing. And now that JV's out, you know, there's going to be teams now that are going to key in a lot more on Larry and DeRozan. They're going to make it a lot easier for them to guard them because they don't have to guard a guy like Bismack.
Yeah.
They just leave him out there.
Yeah.
You know, like, so it's like they're going to be playing 4-on-5 on offense.
It's kind of like when you have an injury as a player, you come back too soon from the injury, and so that injury that you had that had you out for a couple of games, it may not be good or be good enough for you to play, but because you're playing on a leg, for example, that's not 100%, what's going to happen is you're going to have other injuries.
Exactly,
that
because you're
pop up.
overcompensating.
Because you're overcompensating, and that's what's going to happen to the team.
Burst
Like,
in the pipes.
I hope exactly. I hope it doesn't happen, but I can see that because other guys are going to realize, oh, Jonas isn't here, we need to step up and take the role. They're going to try and do too much, and they may put themselves in a situation where they're going to jack shots that they shouldn't, or possibly get injured because they're playing more minutes, have to play even harder than they're already playing. Like it's going to be bad news in Toronto, man. It's not going to be too good, man.
I mean, there's a chance of it being bad news, but there's also a chance that guys can step up. You know, like guys like Pat Patterson, he can, finally get it together.
Yeah.
You know, James Johnson can, get some more minutes, do what he was doing last season. You know,
possibly run more small ball scenarios.
Yeah, maybe when we do play small ball, we'll get more, points or defensively will be a lot better with better mobility.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that it's maybe bad. We could.
A lot of things have to go right.
A lot of things gotta go our way.
But there are some guys too, like maybe Anthony Bennett, who since the Knicks game hasn't seen a minute.
Yeah,
it would be nice to see a guy like him come up and do something.
It would be small ball mentally. Anthony Bennett is my guy.
Yeah, I like him. I like him too.
I'm pulling for him. I want him to I want him to do well, but mentally, I just don't think he's ready. I don't think he's ready, mentally, when he checks in, I don't
not focused.
He's not fully focused. Or I don't know if it's just playing with Toronto and just having the pressure and just knowing that, he has to basically play for his career.
Yeah, you might not get another deal.
You might not get another deal,
He's
so
definitely not getting another, not in the NBA if he does.
So it's that. I think that's playing a big factor on his performance.
He might just spend some time with him. He might need to send him to the D League for
just so he can play.
Good stretch, just a good stretch. Just keep him going.
Do like what Corey Joseph did. Ask to go to the D League just so he can play. And get in the rhythm, and stuff like that. Not just to improve what I see with the motion.
Just to keep the motor running.
Keep the motor running and keep playing. That may be an option that he may want to look at.
Some options type back.
They're running out of options because, like you said, especially with JD going down, look at Scola. Scola signed for I think maybe $3 million or something. What would they be without him? They already struggled as it is.
I for sure. I'm always like Scola's game. He's a beast, but I did not expect him to be good.
Especially another year older. Another year older.
I didn't even know he can shoot like that.
I had no idea either. And to be honest with you, I don't know about you guys, but it looks like he's in the best shape of his life.
Yeah, he seems rejuvenated.
Yeah, he seems like he's
his muscle. His muscle tone is.
Well, they were talking about how he's
benches
65,
which is the strongest on the team.
You never would have thought that.
Bismack on that team, and he can bench more than Bismack.
Yeah, Bismack was a good benchman. Fly to the goalies, But Scola was definitely a great pickup, but I don't think he's not the guy that you want to rely on.
Yeah, he shouldn't be doing what he's doing. Right?
But that just shows the kind of state that the Raptors are in.
Exactly.
And speaking of state, we're going to talk about Golden State and the incredible run that they've been on before we come back. We got another win today to make it 15-0 when we return on the block.
I want to beat them just as bad as you. Off to Devin. Come on! Let's get a stop! Make it stop! Yeah!